show's going to be so good, Terry. We're going to have to start 3 times. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
I don't either.
Buttons pressing, music starting over and over and over again. I'm like, what? You miss a couple of days and look out. You lose your magic touch or your touch or something.
Something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's just me pressing the wrong buttons, being stupid. That's the way it goes sometimes. But speaking of the way things go sometimes, Terry, last night, well, it was a new time for our new host, Betty Jo Goodwin. She joined Sean last night with jockey, Lindy Wade, another fantastic horse center show. Did you get a chance to tune in and meet the Miss New Betty Jo Goodwin?
Yeah, and I was surprised because I didn't know she was going to be on. I had never met her before, so.
Well, that's not uncommon in the horse racing today universe, right? We met once in Saratoga, but we've met 1,000 times here on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all the things you see scrolling down there below. I don't know what Sean lives life right? I mean, he's got Jamie, he works with Lucy, he worked before. He also works now with Betty Jo. I can't believe Andre Ramsey. I can't believe I forget her first name. Terry, help me out. Do you remember?
Julie.
Yes, Julie. So Sean gets to work with all these very attractive women, and you guys get to work with me.
That's true.
Poor guys. I feel sorry for you and Charles and Thomas for sure. I'm not sure what they'll be doing tonight. I didn't see anything on Facebook page, but make sure you keep an eye on our social sites. You see them streaming below. Horse Race the number 2 day, Horse Race the number 2 day on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those things. While you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button if you like what you see today, and then also the bell so when we go live, you are notified. All right, Terry, you ready to go live with our picks today? Starting race number 1 at Parx. One quick caveat before we get started, though. I did the wrong day for all of the simulation data. It takes too long. Once I realized it this morning to redo it again, so we don't have any of that today. But we do have our pace and our race shape. But anyway, what do we have in race number 1?
All right, in race number 1, we've got a 7 furlong maiden claiming race, $16,000, $22,000 purse for maidens 2-year-olds.
So the anything can happen sort of race. 7 furlongs does have a very distinct bias at Parx, and that's post position wise because they're really strong inside to outside bias. Closer you are to the rail, the better off you are. I do think it impacts races and doesn't necessarily pick the produce the best horse, just one that gets the best trip on an inside position. Tactical speed does well. 29% of the time it goes wire to wire, Terry, as I mentioned. Unfortunately, we don't have any of our simulation data. But I did have time to do this. And you can see our race shape here. The fourth making its first start in there. Don't be afraid, Bay. The 6 horse being the only one that showed it has any inclination to go forward. The 3 horse was a closer. The 1, 2, 5, and 7, those 4, they weren't within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. We do get a taste of some early speed here with the 7. Wrigley Reserve, along with I'm a Data Moon and Outcast. The 3, the 6, and the 7, they should be forwardly placed. I'm looking at the late speed in there, Terry, the 5 horse. The Name of the Game, along with 21 to 3. It's Tom, right? That it should be 21 to 1. And then Tom will be notified there. Our top total pace horses in here, Terry, are the 7 and the 6, but not much of a difference between the top 4. Maybe the 2 and 3 you can X out. Not quite sure what to make of the 4 horse, Terry. What did you make of the first race?
Well, I like 6. I am a Data Moon. He ran second versus similar in his last race. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 3, Outcat, is my second choice. Finished poorly in his last race at Parx Racing, but he took up early, and he has now a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then number 5 is my third pick. The name of. He drops in class today, has a good jockey. I like the 1 as my long shot. 28 to 3 drops in class. A rail post win at 21% clip, and he switches to high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play a $1 daily double with the 1, 3, 5, 6 with the 1, 2.
I like the 1 horse here to be your winner today, Terry. Your long shot's my top pick. 28 to 3. Paco Lopez riding on a class and track dropper here. Almost odd that the horse is even at this level, so I'm somewhat suspicious perhaps on that big drop. Amadada Moon did run the top last race speed figure, did so with some better early pace, finishing second. Of course, that's our friend Chris Lou's favorite maiden handicapping angle. Wrigley Reserve, the 7-horse, did not improve in his second start after his debut. A little concerning to me, but sometimes the horses kind of flatline in race number 2 and rebound in race number 3. So I think that's what you might see here today. And then finally, number 5, the Name of the Game is another one of those horses that's dropping in class, dropping from a higher tier track. Did run a little bit faster fractions early on in its last race. 167 with the 1-6 with the 1-4-5-6-7 for me in my trifecta bet in race number 1. We got about a minute there before race number 1. So before we go to race number 1, today at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, there's a link down in the description below. FanDuel Sportsbook is our free track of the day. You will see Bill's Honor is the best bet in race number 1 at 3-1. So not too chalky there with that one at all. And then also today, if you want to help the show, head on over to horseracingtoday.net. 22-1 Tom putting his Melbourne Cups in there. Haven't had a chance to check them out. Got another article coming from Ronaldo, so make sure you see that as well. You have Aubrey Green writing now, the jockey for us as well. So a lot of great content over there. Another thing you can do to help us out while you're on HRT, horseracingtoday.net, hit that HRT gear. Head on over to the shop there and get yourself some Horse Racing Today gear, some numbered shirts, stuff like that. It's very helpful. All right, Terry, it looks like they're about to start with race number 1. Let's share with you with what we see, my friend.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Race number 1. I think we're just waiting on a couple different horses in there to get cracking. Let's put that in there so we can see. Our picks right now, the 1 horse is your favorite on that track class drop with Paco on there at 9-5. Next up is looks like the 6 and the 7 at 7-2. The 5 horse is 9-2. The 3 horse, that one is 5-1. So from Terry's perspective, he probably wants looks like he wants the 3 to win for his daily double. I think they're all about ready to go. I don't know if they're waiting on one right now still. Tough to tell. Yep, the camera zoomed in. Looks like they're just waiting for the starter's assistant to help with the 7-horse Wrigley Reserve. Now they're all lined up and they're off on this Tuesday of racing. The pretty clean break. The 6-horse in there, Amadada Moon, raced out to the lead, followed tightly by the 7. Wrigley Reserve, Paco bringing his horse up pretty aggressively on the rail with 28-3. So the 3 of them right there are your front runners, with the 6-horse, Amadada Moon, in between to the inside of the 7, who remains in second. 4 has moved up alongside Paco with Don't Be Afraid Bay, the first-time starter in there as they ran through a opening quarter in a pedestrian 23-1, maybe a little bit quick side. Right now you have the 3-horse, the 5-horse, and way back in the back there too is your long way back follower. The 6-horse continues to make all the pace with the 7 on the outside, Wrigley Reserve. Paco's moved wide a little bit. I don't know if he has the horse to get around these as they slowed it down in the second half, running 47 seconds. The 4-horse, the first-time starter on the rail at 12-1. Was that a 4? No, it wasn't a first-time starter, was he?
I think
he's making a move, but he's starting to fade. Here comes the 5-horse, it looks like. Terry on the rail is going to get a good trip. Paco with the 1-horse going outside. The 6-horse is trying to corral him, but Paco on the 1-horse looks like he's going to run by them all, Terry, except the 5-horse on the rail is going to give him everything he has because Paco's kind of standing up on the 1. What he's doing, yeah. He's going to get booed again.
He is.
He's got to be careful he doesn't get either that or he's just trying to steady the horse. 5, 1, 6, 7, 5, 1, 6, and 7. So you're alive, Terry. I had the superfecta, but somehow managed to not hit a winning ticket.
Yeah, that 5 went off at 8-1.
Not bad.
No, I'm sorry. He didn't go off at 8-1. He went off at. It
looks like he went off at 6-1, which is still
6-1. Yeah.
So you got a $14 winner on top.
Should put my glasses on, huh?
Yeah, they can be helpful at times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think going wide like that. Yeah, I had off yesterday, Carlos. I went. To be honest with you, when we have these, I'm gonna lie, but whenever we have these pretty long weeks, like the Breeders' Cup week, that's it. Putting together those wagering guides over a Guaranteed Tip Sheet is quite a taxing thing. There was 20 races, and just to putting it together part, the typing and all that stuff, it's about 45 minutes per race, not including all the handicapping and stuff like that goes into it. So it's a pretty lengthy, and and when the weekend comes, I'm kind of burned out. And then it was my daughter's birthday yesterday, so we went somewhere on Sunday, and then we didn't get home until early in the morning from a little bit of a road trip for something we both wanted to do for some fun there down in St. Louis. All right. Race number 2, Terry, is next on our docket. Wish I would have had the superfecta there in race 2, but I'll take it if my top 4 picks continue to finish 1, 2, 3, 4 in some order. What's happening in this one?
It's at 5.5 furlongs. It's another maiden claiming race, $10,000 claiming price, purse $19,000 for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and upward.
So at 5.5 furlongs, despite the reputation of Parx, Tactical Speed does pretty good there. I'll be at 45% of the time the horse that gets the lead wins, runs straight into the winner's circle. There is an inside 3 bias. Augie's Girl, the one horse, might get the best of that bias. 4 through 7 play under par. When they go to 8 and out, they get a little bit of a bonus. Again, unfortunately, no simulations today. We'll have them back tomorrow with Charles and I when we do Churchill Downs, provided I'm not a knucklehead and I do the wrong day. I did tomorrow's Parx instead of today's. I don't know why. Looking at this race shape, Terry, you have 4 of them that haven't been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line of yet. The other 3 want to be forwardly placed. That makes you think the 1, the 4, and the 3 should have an advantage, especially if they can get out. Looks like the 4 horse does have a little bit of early pace advantage over the 5 horse. 5 horse, not much at the end of the race. At the end of the race, you're looking at the Balls Lady, the 3 horse, the pressure horse, going to be kind of far off the pace, or might actually be the slowest horse in the race early on. See if that impacts the outcome, although we did see the 5 horse come up on the rail and close there. Total pace, you have the 4 and the 2, Terry, a few points ahead of everybody else. Looks like the 7 and the 1 might be the 2 that you can kind of maybe toss to the side. Not so quite sure about that, but what do you got?
Well, I like the number 1 that you said, toss, Augie's Girl.
I said maybe.
She drops in class today. The rail post is winning at 21% clip, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. Lucky Flush, the 2, is my second choice, finished 3rd versus similar in her last race. She has a high percentage winning trainer. Number 4, Orbs Party Girl, is my 3rd pick. She has the best dirt speed among today's starters, and a jockey who in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 8 starts. And then number 5, my long shot Yellow Ma has the highest speed rating. It can improve while returning to dirt and has a good 4 furlong workout on October 27th. 50-cent pick 4, the 1, 2 with the 1, 3, 4, 5 with the 1, with the 1, 5, 7, and 8.
In the second spot for me, I'm going to start off with the 2 horse, Lucky Flush. Last time out, all of its internals, race-wise, were better pace at the middle, the beginning, the start, the finish, and accompanying that was better fraction. So confirmation that the horse is improving. Number 1, Augie's Girl, is a maiden special weight drop. We're going to ride the strong rail there. Is an okay maintenance workout, only okay, after stopping in its last race. And I kind of even wanted to downgrade it even a little bit more, but as the pure MSF maiden special weight dropper. But the reason I wanted to downgrade it a little more, Terry, the first 2 races were on turf where it fired. The last one was on dirt where it just said, I don't like this. So it could be a situation where the horse just doesn't like the dirt, getting the kickback, right? Number 5, Yoloma, top last race, speed figured for this one and published her best workout since running that top last race speed figure. So horse indicating it's in form right now. Number 4, Orbs Party Girl. This one should be close to the front all the way around the track. Only problem is sometimes she kind of fades at the end. So 2, 1, 5 over the 1, 2, over the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 in my trifecta. Probably going to be wishing I did a 10-cent superfecta box, Terry.
Maybe.
Third race today in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Terry, got a lot of these today, 6 furlong races. So keep an eye on this one to get a sense of what the bias might look like on this Tuesday.
Yeah, it's another maiden claiming race, $16,000 claiming price, $22,000 purse for maidens and fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward.
All right, 6 furlongs, tactical speed is the best way to get to the winner's circle, although about a third of them do go wire to wire. Post positions 1 through 7 play fair. You get a little bit of a bonus when you're wearing 8 and out. In race number 3, Terry, the 2 horse, Empress Ayasha, making its first start today. Otherwise, the 1, the 4, and the 5 want to be up on the front. The 3 and the 6, so far in their efforts, have not been within 5 lengths of the leader. Should give an advantage to the 1, 4, and 5, especially the quickest of that group. Looks like that might be the 5 horse, Sandy Q, about a half a horse length faster than True Phenomenon, who's about a half a horse length faster than Jumpstart Love. So they should line up that way, notwithstanding what the 2 horse brings to the table early on. Late speed belongs to the 1 horse, Jumpstart Love, Terry. That one has about a 10-point advantage over the rest. So just to bomb this picture here, it looks like the 1 should sit second or third. Use those late legs to come home as your winner, Terry, with the top late pace of 8 points higher than the next closest horse. Just from this round up here, Terry, it looks like the 1 horse is the one to beat in race number 3.
Well, I like the 4 as my top pick, True Phenomenon. She ran second versus similar in her last race, has a high percentage winning trainer, and this trainer wins 30% of the mating claiming races he has an entry in and has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 1, Jumpstart Love. She ran second versus similar in her last race, has the highest last speed rating, and has a high percentage winning jockey, my second choice. Third choice is number 5, Sandy Q. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer, and switches the high percentage winning jockey, who in the last 7 days won 4 out of 8 starts, which is pretty darn good. Number 3 is my long shot, Only Girl, finished third in her last shot. The shorter distance will help her, I believe. And no bit for me in this race.
I'm going to start with the 1 horse. We saw how all that stuff laid out in the previous page. Pace works out, should have a late race advantage and only be like a half a step or length behind the front runners. Jumpstart Love did run the top last race speed figure along with all that. 4 points better than the next closest horse. Again, Andrew Beyer, the founder of Speed Figure, says when it clears that 3-point hurdle, absolutely needs to be considered. Favorite handicapping angle for many people are Charles included. Third start after a layoff. Only problem that Parx ran 4 times, no wins, a couple of a trio of thirds and a second. So knocking on the door. True Phenomenon. Yeah, Paco Lopez is going to ride that one in here today, Terry, that 4 horse, and probably the most consistent horse in the field. So maybe Paco can get a little bit more out of it than it did in the 1 in the first legs. Number 5, Sandy Q is the biggest class dropper in the field. Another making the classic third start after a layoff. And then finally, the 2 horse Empress, Ayasha, is the first time starter here, Terry. It checks off most of the boxes. In reading James Quinn's book, the 3 things that he looked for, it does have the trainer. It does have the pedigree. The only thing it's missing is the workouts. 1, 4, 5 over the 1, 4 over the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. So that'll put Charles's workouts don't matter to the test on how the 2 horse runs today. I think they matter, Terry. I don't know.
Yep.
Why do them if they don't matter, right?
Yeah.
Race number 4, like the first race, Terry, they're going to go 7 furlongs.
Yep, and it's a claiming race, $5,000 claiming price, purse $18,000 for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won 2 races since May 7th.
7 furlongs, like we discussed. In the opener, does have one of the strongest biases at Parx. That's the post position bias, where the closer you are to the rail, the higher your probability goes of winning, Terry. So a little bit of inside speed probably would matter there. As far as our race shape is concerned for race number 4, again, we see barbell, right? 3 horses that want to be on the front, 3 horses that want to be on the back. Since there's more on the back than the front, it should favor speed. Looking at the early speed, we see Bahama Pearl, the 7 horse. It's a little bit of advantage over a couple of others in here, but it looks like it can be hotly contested on the outside. So maybe it makes the task for Bahama Pearl to clear more difficult. Late speed, Tonola. Oh, there's all your closers in there, Terry. The only horse with early speed that's showing up in the late pace, they all kind of have the same numbers in there. But the 3 closers on the inside absolutely have an advantage there. Maybe the 2 horse Starship Blanco will be close to the pace. Our total late pace is favoring the closers here, Terry, with the 1, 2. Although the 7 horse of the speed horses is closest to that bunch, just a point off the top 2. How do you see this race playing out?
All right. I like number 1, Wicked Jane. She won her last race at Parx Racing. The rail post win at 21% clip, and she has the highest last speed rating. And then I like number 7, Bahama Pearl. She ran second versus similar in her last race, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 22% of the races in the second race after he claims a horse. Number 2, Starship Blanca is my third pick. Switches to high percentage winning jockey, has a trainer who wins 19% of the claiming races that he has an entry in. And her best start speed is fastest among today's starter. My long shot is the 4 Awesome Pal. She won her last race at Parx and likes the distance, winning 2 out of 3 starts at today's distance. And no bet again for me. No, I'm sorry. I'm playing the 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to single the 1, use the 158 with 2, 6, 7, 10 with the 3, 8, 10, 11.
I got to start with your long shot, Awesome Pal, the 4-horse in race number 4. I like that. 4 in race 4. Won his last race, and the resume says that this trip is likely to be better than that last one in the third start after a layoff. The 1-horse gets the next call from me. Wicked Jane does ride the rail after posting the top last race speed figure at the distance 3 times, 2 wins and a third. So does like the quirky 7 furlongs. Starship Blanca, the 2-horse. And we saw that in the pace setup. It should have a pretty good race here. Does get a weight break. And this one's probably a 7 furlong specialist, Terry. 7 times out, 3 wins, a second, 3 thirds. Put the horse at any other distance. 39 times they have. It's won one of those. Has 3 seconds and 5 thirds. So 7 furlongs, baby. Here it comes. Bahama Pearl, the 7-horse that should be close to the pace early on, did show better race internals from the beginning to the middle to the end in its last start. That Parx a couple of times with a couple of seconds. So why not put him on 4th? That makes sense. I'm going to do a 50-cent pick 4, 1-4, although I really would like to have added some more horses in here. 1, 5, 6, 7 with the 5, 7, 10. And at the end to close it out, the 2 and the 8. Hopefully we get there and one of those horses wins. All right, we get towards the middle point of the card today, Terry, in race number 5. As I mentioned, we have a lot of 6 furlong races, and this is yet another.
Yeah, it sure is. It's another claiming race, $5,000 claiming price, purse of $18,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since May 7th.
So 6 furlongs, tactical speed does well. If you have a post outside from the 7, get a little bit of a bonus over the rest. About a third go wire to wire. Don't really have any horses that have shown that they are lead dependent in this race. Most of them have shown that they prefer to be middle back. The 6-horse, Catch My Vibe, hasn't caught a break, not finishing within 5 lengths of the winner in up to the last 10 races. You get to the front here, you could have an advantage, especially if you have some form of late race ability. Early on, Taco Bean, the 7-horse, about a 7-point advantage over the 2-horse. There's a storm brewing. 7 points equates to about 1 1/4 lengths. So 7 should be able to clear, get to the front. Question is, will it be able to hold on? It looks like there's a horse in here with a super advantage late. That is Enraged. Has a 12-point advantage over the rest of the field. And really not going to be all that far off the pace here, Terry, with this crew, except for maybe the 7. Total pace numbers do favor the 5-horse, the Enraged. 7 points better than the next. Anytime you clear that 5-length level and close in on 10, horse that you should absolutely consider in your exactas, trifectas, maybe even at the top of your ticket, Terry. In race number 5, you do have it on the top of your ticket.
I do. I like number 5, Enraged. He's finished in the money in 9 out of 10 of his last 10 starts. He's won 3 of those starts, and he finished 3rd versus similar in his last start. And switches to high percentage winning jockey. Number 8, Manolet is my second choice. He switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and he has the highest speed figure today's distance. The number 1, BB Bad.
Bad. That's the George Thoroughbred horse.
That's right.
Bad to the bone. On the day I was born, the nurses gathered around.
He finished 8th in his last race after stumbling at the start, drops in class today, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. My long shot is the number 7, Taco Bean, who was entered yesterday, scratched yesterday for today. He drops in class today, and his early speed running style will help his chances. No bet for me in here today.
So they think they're going to win this one if they scratched him to put him in today, right? I mean, that has to be the thinking there.
Yeah.
I like the 1-horse, Terry, the George Thoroughgood horse, Bad. I won't sing anymore because I saw that the number of people watching just dropped in half. Top last race speed figure by 7 points for that one. I'm going to drop in class 2 along with a weight break. Number 5, Enraged, perhaps the most back class in the field, Terry. Just hasn't lived up to it of late. The last race was an improvement off the prior start, so maybe heading back into that direction, especially since it ran a little bit faster fractions last out. Number 7, Taco Bean, did run some much faster fractions early on and a much better early pace through its first half mile. So maybe we'll see continued improvement today. Hell, it's obvious that's what the trainer's thinking and the owner. Catch My Vibe, the 6 horse, better fractions too, despite going longer in its last race. So cutting back in distance should be beneficial to Catch My Vibe. Trifecta for me, 157 with the 1-5, with the 1, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8 in race number 5, excuse me. Now we jump the fence to the back half of the 10 race card today, Terry. Again, 6 furlongs.
It is, and it's a $10,000 claiming price. Purse $26,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since August 7th. Claiming races for $8,000 or less are not considered, or which have never won 4 races.
So again, 6 furlongs, tactical speed. About a third of them do go wire to wire. Post positions play pretty fair. You do get a little bit of an edge if you wear the 8 or out. In the 6th race, Terry, our race shape tells us that most of these horses have some great versatility. You have 5 PC types. That means they can be really anywhere on the track. Most of the time, they prefer to be middle back. A little bit of speed up here in the 4 and the 10. So with only 2 E types, if one of them is considerably faster than the other, they could have an advantage. It does look like that designation goes to the 10, although plenty of speed to its inside. So it's going to have to hustle to clear before the turn there. Late speed for the horses that should chase down a lot of the speed. There should be some tiring legs. So Large, one that wants to be on the front, he's going to run backwards today instead of forwards. Does have some of the best late speed. Pretty tight in here, Terry. Only the 7 horse kind of lacking some late speed. Our total pace horse is the 10 horse, 7 points better than the next closest horse. So that one, if these numbers hold true, Terry, gets out to the front, hardly clears. Once it does clear, wins by about a length in a nose. Where do you have the 10 horse rank?
I like number 10, Starlight Walker, as my top pick. Finished 3rd versus Similar. In her last race, has the highest last race speed rating. Her best start speed is fast among today's starters. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and she switches the high percentage winning jockey, marks all the boxes. Number 2, Debo.
I think you left the box out.
Well, I did the workout box. Number 2, Debo. She ran 2nd in her last race, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 23% of the in the first race after claiming a horse.
And he might be the most valuable player in the NFL, Terry.
That could be, huh?
Because, I mean, without Debo, your 49ers suck.
That's right. You're right. Number 6, Takenator, is my 3rd pick. Won 2 races in a row and now goes for a hat trick. Center mid Maddie, the 7, won her last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer. She's my long shot, and I have no bet in this race.
I got the 10 horse in there too. Starlight Walker as my top choice. Starlight Walker, this one did run the top last race speed figure and had some explosive early pace in its last race and a nice maintenance workout to keep that edge for today, keeping that saw sharp. Jaraland, that 5 horse, Terry, held his speed much longer last time out. So when you look on the past performances, you'll see like the 1 or the 2s, they go deeper into the line there. Better across the board with its internal pace numbers, and cutting back in distance going to be useful. Number 7, center mid Maddie, did pop some really good numbers in its last race. And what I like to see about that is this is one of those horses that looks to me like it comes into and out of form, like on a moment's notice. So you'll see it run poorly, and then all of a sudden, bang, a good race, then another 1 or 2 good races after that, and then back to the poor form. Right now, it looks like it's in good form. Number 3, Cousin Andrew, 3rd start after a layoff. Last trip was not the best as it had to go wide, so maybe a little bit of a better inside track today could be useful for Cousin Andrew. 5, 7, 10 over to 5, 10 over to 3, 5, 7, 8, and 10 is my $6 trifecta in race number 6. Hey, Tafum, how you doing today in Turkey, my man? Terry, did you give your best bet of the day yet for Tafum? I know that's what he's here for.
No, I haven't. It's coming up, though.
Coming up, Tafum. So
and by
hold
the way,
your horses, my man.
My best bet won yesterday.
Well, unfortunately, we weren't here yesterday.
I know.
So hopefully, it'll get the job done today, too. I didn't jinx you by missing yesterday. Again, another 6 furlong race and lucky race number 7, Terry.
Yes, and it's another claiming race, $16,000 claiming price. Purse $25,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for $16,000 or less, and which have never won 2 races, or claiming price of $16,000, and which have never won 2 races.
So good, you got to say it 2 times.
I guess.
6 furlongs. We talked about it. Tactical speed, 1 out of 3 goes wire to wire. Best if you wear an 8 and out, but really no deal killers from a post position standpoint. See if there's any deal killers in the way the race shape takes place, Terry. Again, another barbell race. You see everybody either wants to be on the front or a few on the back, but with 6 of the horses wanting to be forwardly placed on the lead, it's one that you want the speed of the speed advantage closer here, Terry. The speed of the speed is the 2-horse El Grey, along with the 1-horse on this Harvest Moon. So those 2 on the inside might go duking it out. So one can't clear the other. The one would want to maintain its place. The 2 want to go by. Late speed should have the edge here, Terry. Fancy Warrior, Divine Grace. That's the speed horse with some speed in there with some late pace along with the 5. So maybe you're looking for some early speed horses. Maybe take a look at that 8-horse. Our top total pace horse in this race, Terry, is that 8-horse. How about that? Did not know that. 4 points better than the next. Then you got the 1, the 3, and the 10 in there as well. So those 4 look like they're a little bit better than the rest of the pack from a pace standpoint, Terry. What about from a Terry handicapping angle?
Well, I agree with that. 8 is my top pick. Divine Grace won her last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 11, Mended We Stand, is my second choice. She comes in from Keeneland after running second versus Tougher there. And, and then runs second here in her last race. Drops in class today, switches to high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 10, Maddie Bow, my third choice, won her last race at Parx Racing easily, and the distance won't be a problem for her. Number 3, Fancy Warrior, my long shot, finished third versus Tougher in her last race and drops in class today. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4, 3, 8, 10, 11. I'm going to single the 1, and then I'm going to go 3, 6, 7, 9 with the 9, 10, 11.
I think the 8-horse probably wins this race too, Terry, in the second spot there. I have Divine Grace, top last race speed figure. That was 6 points better than the next closest, so double the minimum required by Andrew Beyer. That was the first race at Parx. Does have a decent maintenance workout. Stephen Covey keeping the saw ready to roll. El Grey, the 2-horse, gets my next call in there. Better across the board in its last. So all the race internal showed an improving horse, and then on the track it put in a bullet workout. So the trend continues today. Maddie Bow, the 10-horse, next on my list, smoked the field by 11 in its last race, which is a maiden claiming $10,000 win. So not as impressive as it looks on paper, especially with the fractions being a little bit on the slow side. But then again, nobody in here really ran a lot of fast races so far. Number 11, Mended We Stand, is a track dropper, Terry, dropping off the claim. The horse is not in for a price here today. Pick 4, 2, 8, 10, 11. I think all 4 of them have a shot, just like you, Terry. I have the 1 singled as well, so we might as well just throw that one out and take those tickets and Jordan them. 3, 6, 9, and then I'm going to close it out with 5 horses on the back end because I think that last race is pretty open. 2, 4, 5, 10, and 11. There's a couple of reasons why I think that race is a little bit more wide open than maybe some of the numbers project. I think we have enough time to do race number 8, Terry?
There's about 2 minutes.
All right. Well, we can at least set up race number 8, and then we can get to our picks if they get cracking.
Yeah.
So what's going on in race 8?
All right. So in race 8 is 6 furlongs. It's an optional claiming race of $30,000 or $25,000 claiming price. First $34,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $16,000 or less since July 18th, 2021, or a claiming price of $25,000.
Yeah, and this one's not in for a claim. You don't see a number right here on the Brisnet sheets. Is anybody in for a claim? There you go. Final shot is in for a claim. That's how you know if you're at the track and you want to buy one today, which ones are available to be bought. At 6 furlongs, we've talked plenty about the way that the pace and post positions play out. Some early speed, 1 through 7 play fair, 8 and out, a little bit of an edge. Let's talk about race number 8, race edges in terms of pace setup. Everybody here, Terry, wants to be middle forward. That's a positive. So maybe a little bit of early speed of the speed, but everybody's kind of tightly packed up in this one, Terry. So not much difference between all of them except the 5, Genghis or Genghis, if you're John Kerry. The late pace belongs to the 1-horse, Eagle Man, Genghis, and Johnny Ritt. They're pretty much a lot more late pace than the rest of these horses in here, Terry. I know you singled the 1, as did I in our pick 4s. Probably makes good sense. The horse should be right among the lead. Does have some of the most late speed. You can't pass what you can't catch, Terry. So real quick, we got a minute. Tell us about your picks.
My top pick of the day, number 1, is Eagle Man. He has won 3 races in a row, has a high speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Number 4 is my second pick, is in top form, finishing the money in his last 6 starts, winning 4 of those races, and has a high percentage winning trainer. Number 2, Johnny Ritt, my third pick, drops in class today, has finished in the money in his last 9 starts and won 4 of those. And number 5, Genghis, is my long shot. He ran second versus similar in his last race at Parx Racing. $20 to win on number 1. I'm going to play a $1 double 1 with the 3, 6, 7, 9, and I'm going to do a $2 exacta box, the 1, 4.
I have the one horse Eagle Man. All of his last 10 races probably win this one. Number 2, Johnny Ritt, faced that top pick a couple of times, finished second to it. Once well beaten the other time, the most recently by a neck. Maybe can reverse roles today. Number 8, Powerfully Built, is a class dropper that has plenty of backlash in here, Terry. Some improvement in his last race does give us some hope that it can return to form. And then finally, number 3, Final Shot, had 2 of its best races with today's jockey, Paco Lopez, on. So those are the only 2 times Paco rode. In fact, his best race was with Paco on. That was the last time the 2 teamed up together. 50-cent try, 1-2-8 with the 1-2 over to 1-2-3, 7 and 8. As we can now rewind back to race number 2, Terry, as we did that very well. Let's go see what happens in race number 2. Where right now the 1 horse, Augie's Girl, is the 3-5 favorite, Terry. Behind that is the 2 horse, Lucky Flush, as your second choice at 7-2. And then you have 6-1 on the 4 horse, a little bit of a gap there. 5-1 on the 7, 9-1. So really, the bettors are saying that the 1 horse is the one to beat. Though if anyone is going to challenge it, it looks like the 2 horse. They are just loading the 1 in now. They got the 6 and the 7 to go. While we wait for the 6 and 7, don't forget today at FanDuel, free track over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There's a link down in the description below. Also below on our screen, you see our social sites scrolling by. Make sure you head on over to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Rumble, wherever you get your social media information from. Horse Race the number 2 day. Subscribe while you're on YouTube. Hit the bell when we go live. Hit the share button, copy that, and put that in your social sites so folks that you know that like horse racing can follow us as well. Hope you don't have the 3 horse, folks, because that one just got a pretty bad break in there. The 5 horse, Yoloma, is your front runner at the moment with the 1 horse, that big favorite, Augie's Girl, to the inside, although the 5 did clear pretty easily. Once hustling a little bit, I'm kind of curious to see how fast that one ran to get the lead at 15-1, Terry. Would make for a nice trifecta. 23 seconds, not all that fast as they go through the opening turn, Terry, to be honest with you. It's a little on the slow side, quite frankly. The horses are running faster than the Walmart truck in the background. I don't know if you saw that. And the picture
Yeah, I
there,
did.
Terry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So down the stretch they come. The 5 horse does look like its strides are shortening up a little bit.
Went
Kind of
wide, too.
A little bit weak through the turn there. It looks like the 2 horse is making up some ground. I think the 1 horse is going to get the job done there, Terry. It looks to me like it's going to be the 2 horse, although the 7 horse is coming with some aggressiveness. The 6 horse on the rail. It is going to be your 2 horse is
All
your
right.
winner.
Best.
It's going to go 2, 6, 7, and then the 5.
That's the best double for me.
Perfect. It's the way you want it to be, my man.
It is. Absolutely.
And your pick 4 is alive too with the 1
It
horse
is.
running out of the money. So nothing but W's for Terry to start this terrific Terry Tuesday.
Yeah.
I know it should be on your day, Terry.
What's that?
I said that's how it should always be on your day, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday in the first 4 races, I had my first 5 races, my top pick won 4 out of the 5.
Not bad. Got to
And
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So today, let's see, in race number 1, you had, who won the first one? The 5 horse, right?
Yeah.
Won that one. And then the 2 horse in your next race. So second and third. So the next one, Terry, if you follow that logic, according to SATs, your top pick will win the next race.
All right.
Race number 9, 2 races to go, starting with the first of the late daily double. We get a little bit of a distance today. Change for the first time. We run a mile.
That's right. We're going a mile for a claiming price of $40,000, a purse $35,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since August 7th. Claiming races for $25,000 or less not considered, or which have never won 4 races.
Well, the winner race here at a mile, Terry, If you want to win it 4 times, you better be fast. 36% of the time go wire to wire, but early speed is definitely the key. A little bit of a small rail bias for Alivare. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, you do get a major penalty. So you want to be on the inside here, Terry, particularly. Don't want to be on the outside, at least unless you're not the best horse. In race number 9, our race shape, again, kind of slanted to the right. Everybody wants to be middle back, Terry. Should give an advantage to somebody who has a little bit of early speed in here. And that does look like that belongs to the 9 horse. Uncle Irish, although the inside, Alivare, margin of error, tops the chart. All of these aren't all that far off, Terry. Could be very difficult for the 8 and 9 to find their way to the front. But neither one of them really needs it, as one's a pressure horse and one's a PC type. Late speed, 5 horse, of course. I got to be on the top somewhere today, Terry. Rich's Way being the fastest of them coming home. But he'll have company with Bafid and Divine Miracle. Finally, our total pace horse here is Bafid, the 6 horse, along with Divine Miracle, the 3 and the 6. They're 7 points clear of the next closest one, Rich's Way. So the 3 and the 6, if pace matters, they should duel it out and end up at the winner at the finish line, nose to nose for the exacta.
Yeah, I like the 6 Bafid as my first pick. He ran second versus Similar in his last race. As a trainer, wins 21% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route. And he has a high percentage winning jockey. Divine Miracle, the 3 is my second choice, likes Parx Racing, finishing in the money in 80% of the races, winning 53% of the starts, likes the distance, where he's finished in the money 100% of the races, winning 80% of the starts. Number 9, Uncle Irish is my third pick, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Hold the Flight is my long shot, the 7 horse. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 17% of the races in the second race after claiming a horse. I don't have any money left, so I can't make any bets.
So I like the 3 horse, Terry. Here is my top choice. Divine Miracle. We can all use those from time to time. Did run the top last race speed figure, and this is the perfect distance for this horse. 5 times, 4 wins in a third. And what's interesting here is Paco Lopez is riding this one instead of Bafid, who he rode last time, who's a very consistent performer. Looks like the extra distance should help Bafid, but the lone route didn't go very well. Could be because he was running at a level way above its head. Number 9, Uncle Irish. This is Jamie Ness and Mikel Sanchez. The 2 of them have cooled off a little bit. They were winning in the upper 40s. Now it's down to 35%, still a winning rate that you'd like. So when dropping a tiny bit in his third class after start after layoff. Finally, Rich's Way. I mean, there's no other way. There's only my way, Terry. There's no way I can't put this horse in my picks, even if it wasn't rated in my picks. So trifecta 3, 6, 9 over the 3, 6 over the 1, 3, 5, 6, and 9. And after the Rich's Way, we head off to the last race of the day at Parx anyway. That's
right.
Cat in the hat, Dr. Seuss thing. Just like we started, we end at 7 furlongs.
That's right. Claiming price $7,500, purse $20,000 for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since August 7th. And by the way, yesterday's top pick for me was the Rich horse. I forget the beginning of the name, but it won and paid $780, I believe.
Of course, I'm not a cheap date, Terry.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I'm not easy, man. I'm not like the Commodores. Anyway, like we started, first one, again, this is a race where really post position matters. Probably the biggest bias that we see on the day at Parx today. Inside definitely has the edge, a very dominant inside out. Speed does matter. About a third of the time, the horses do go wire to wire. In the final race, our race shape paints a story of horses that, well, you got a balanced one here a little bit finally today. A couple of Sesame Street horses in here with the 1 and the 10, and that they're not like any of the others. The 1 and the 10, one a little bit of versatility, can take the lead if necessary, can be patient if they go too fast. 6, 7, and 11, they look a little bit more lead dependent. So of those, the 6 horse, Triboard does have the most early speed. But look at this over here, Terry, a closer. Queen's Cadence, the 4 horse. I call those left arrow horses. They come out of the gates. It's typical normally speed. It's going to put it close to the front, Terry. And does have some late speed as well. Not as much late speed as Gavinci. That one has the most by about a length. Should be in the mix early on, too, because there's really not a lot of speed here. So 5 should get a nice trip. Total pace does belong to those 2 horses, the 5 and the 4. Although this is a pretty competitive race all the way down to, I would say, right about here, Terry. Although even these horses they're just like a misstep or a bump away from being able to win. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, I believe it's really wide open too, but I like number 9, Juliet's Music. She finished 3rd in her last race, has a high percentage winning trainer. The trainer wins 35% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route to a sprint, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 11, Gia's Fugo is my second pick. She finished
Gia's
3rd in her,
hot.
yeah.
Yeah.
She finished 3rd in her last race after a poor start and a wide rally, and has a high percentage winning jockey. Ambitiously Placed is my third pick. The 10 finished 3rd versus Tougher in her last race, has the highest last speed rating, and drops in class today. Number 6, Triboard, finished in the money 10 out of 21 starts at Parx Racing, can improve at this shorter distance. That's my long shot. I'm out of money, so I can't make any bets in this race.
All out of money, huh? All
Yep.
right. I always try to save a little bit of money. I'm going to go with Queen Kate. Honestly, the post positions really kind of maybe alter the way I would handicap. They're not necessarily ranking them in the order from what I think the best chance to win and on down, but just kind of who's the closest with the right post position. And Queen Cadence does have that left arrow status. Terry might not be the best horse in the field, but the post position on the inside, the left arrow helps that early speed with the closing ability. Number 2, Sensimillion, someone with a little bit of THC habit perhaps there. This one's down in class, 3rd start after a layoff. It's the proper distance for this one. 6 races, 3 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd. Again, that inside post almost on the rail should be really helpful. Gavinci is the top total pace horse by 6 points. Terry should be close up as well here with those late legs. Good to get a good trip. Ambitiously Placed did run the top last race. Speed figure going to drop in class in its 3rd start after a layoff. It was a tough call for me over the 11 in that spot, Terry, but I just feel like the big penalty that those horses get on the outside will work to the detriment of all of them outside horses. So I'm going to go trifecta 2, 4, 5 over to 2, 4 over to 2, 4, 5, 10, and 11 to close out the show today. Without a Fight wins the Melbourne Cup there, Terry. Let's see how our good friend did Thomas have Without a Fight?
No, he didn't. And actually, I checked his deal, and he didn't fare too well. But
he had a tough day today at the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, it was kind of tough. But there were a lot of horses in there, a lot of things going on, so it's really hard to pick that in that race. They've got the best horses running, so it's like the Breeders' Cup. It's hard to pick the winners in that. So
yeah, it's too bad I screwed up the Breeders' Cup stuff, so people couldn't join us for our seminar. It would have been nice because I know that in the 20 Breeders' Cup races, I know, Terry, you had a really good Saturday. We had a really good Saturday as well over at that guaranteed tip sheet. And in the 20 races that they had for the Breeders' Cup, I know that we had the winner in our top picks in 15 of the 20 races, but in 4 of the other races, it was the very first alternate pick that won. And in the other one, it was the second alternate pick. So every single Breeders' Cup race, we had the winning pick in either our top picks or in the alternate pick. And there were some good price horses, particularly on Friday, that kind of mixed things up in there. So we had a successful, hopefully, by the time we get together to do another one of those webinars, probably around the Kentucky Derby, I'll have it all figured out, Terry. Don't screw up the links.
Okay. Yep, that sounds good. So
I'm sorry, Terry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I had a good day at Breeders' Cup on Saturday. I had a lot of fun. So go ahead.
So here are all of our picks for the day, Terry. Race number 1 and 2 are in the books. Opener, the 5-horse 1. The second race, the 2-horse 1. Terry won his double. He's on his way to the pick 4 with the 2-horse, beating the 3 to 5. It was right on that 1-horse, perhaps not liking the dirt, Terry, because he just went straight backwards. Didn't like. Maybe he's a turf horse, folks. So keep an eye on that one. Maybe put the 1-horse in your horses to watch. That's Augie's Girl in the event that horse goes back to the turf. And I would think based upon its last 2 races, will go off at a big price, and maybe you can catch one on that one. All right, Terry, that wraps it up for today. Tomorrow, Charles and I will return. We'll do Churchill Downs. Thursday, we'll probably take our craft and wares to either Santa Anita again or to Aqueduct, probably Aqueduct. And then I'm not sure what we're going to do on Foreign Friday. And we won't do Foreign Fridays this week because I'm actually heading out of town on Friday afternoon. Terry and I'll be back on Monday. I'm not sure if there's a horse center tonight or not, folks. So keep an eye on our great CEO, right? I don't know what the hell's going on around here. Keep an eye on our social sites so you'll know all about that. Any final thoughts before you and I get out of here, Terry?
Yeah, I just hope everybody has a good rest of the week, and take it easy, be safe, and give your loved ones and your friends some good loving. And just I hope you had a good weekend with the Breeders' Cup. And my prayers and heart goes out to the Cody's parents and loved ones as he passed away this last weekend on the way home from watching Cody's Wish win. And very very disheartening, sad story. But anyway, there you go.
Indeed. You never know what the next day holds. Like
You don't.
Steve Jobs said, understanding. There's a great speech out there. If you haven't looked at, Google it up. If you're in the need for some motivation today. Steve Jobs, the Stanford commencement speech, only about 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes long. Excellent speech. What are the things he notes in there, though? And I'm sure, and I never met the young man, Cody, but I would suspect that, like Steve Jobs says, once you come to grips with the fact that you know that your time is not limitless, that you're going to die, it really takes the shackles off. And then you realize you have nothing to lose, folks. So go out there, make your dreams happen, no matter what you're doing for the rest of this day as you try to work towards your dreams, or just a winner, Terry, at Parx. We hope that every single thing that you do ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us on this terrific Terry Tuesday. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day.